Hello and welcome to WebTV Focus program where we discuss issues that affect the household. I am Gabriel Jude. So excited to let you know that the federal government has signed the Investment and Securities Act 2025 into law, making its provision officially enforceable. The act now classifies the long-awaited digital asset and cryptocurrency as securities, bringing them under the regulations Nigerian Security and Exchange Commission (SEC). That is, congratulations to those who are interested in the investment. So this edition will begin a series of conversation on online trading in Nigeria as we look at Nigeria's capital market in the world of changing digital context. Our conversation today will explore digital asset adoption in Nigeria's capital market, and my guest is Mr. Oluwagbenga Magbagbeola, a chartered stockbroker and managing director, Sycamore Investment and Asset Management Limited. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. Thank you.
All right, before we begin the conversation, let's have some reaction videos of citizens and the recent statement of the DG of SEC about the digital asset, and we'll be right back.
In recent years, global regulatory bodies, including Nigeria's SEC, have recalibrated their approaches to balance oversight with innovation. We recognize that excessive rigidity stifles growth, while strategic flexibility cultivates resilience. The key initiatives driving our vision include crypto asset regulation, learning from global peers like the US SEC Crypto Task Force. We are developing clear framework to integrate digital assets into Nigeria's capital markets. This ensures investor safety without compromising innovation.
How do you think we can adopt online trading into Nigeria's capital market?
Yes, online trading into Nigerian capital market is very good idea to bring to Nigeria as our country. But the most important thing there is, that people are scared of insecurity. So insecurity, when you're trying to bring this thing, like me, I'm a businessman. As a businessman, sometimes even I used to fear of clicking some app and all those things. So, I can say that maybe Nigeria is backward in internet trading and so-called capital trading as an internet. So what I suggest is the SEC, Abby, yes. The SEC that are promoting it right now should put more security on the internet.
The adoption of online trading is a win-win for the economy, to boost the economy of the country, and I will come from the angle of the crypto market. And thank God, all thanks to SEC and then the recent government that passed the law, the ISA 2025, the Investment and Securities Act. So now crypto is a legit market to enter. I would say the adoption of online trading is a win-win for our economy.
I feel crypto is like the future of currency. As we are seeing Naira, we are seeing dollar, we are seeing a lot of currencies around the world. Crypto is something that I see in nearest future that will bring the world together when it comes to, the dollar is dominating now. Most of the country you go to, they spend dollars there. But right now, you can spend crypto anywhere as long as they know about it and they know that, okay, this thing is functioning. They do crypto. Especially in Nigeria, there are some stores that you go in that they'll tell you, okay, we accept crypto. And you can use it as a medium of payment. So it's a very important thing when it comes to the future of currency.
So I think it's just more awareness in terms of getting the public to know more about online trading and all of these platforms that exist. And I think Nigerians particularly, we appreciate things like this, and I'm sure if the awareness is there, people will want to put in their money. And again, the transparency of the system, particularly when you're talking about cryptocurrency, people want transparency in terms of am I able to get my money back? And of course, there are so many fraud out there as well. So they want to be sure if they will get their funds back at every point in time. And I think if those transparency is assured and customers' confidence is there as well, I'm sure people will buy more into this online platforms and all that.
I feel if the government or if the country as a whole could adapt to online trading, it will help a lot of things. Like it will reduce internet fraud, first of all, because a lot of youth will now basic instead of investing their time in trying to defraud people, they would learn on how to trade. And it's going to serve as a source of employment to the unemployed. Then it will take a lot of people off the streets, because I believe everybody now have a mobile. We're in an era where everybody have a digital phone, and most people don't know what to do with their phone. So instead of investing too much time doing idle things that are not profitable on their mobile phone, they invest it in online trading. So if the government can not just publish it out, encourage it, hold seminars, hold conferences that encourage or facilitate online trading, not just approving it alone, is to encourage it. So I think it's going to serve a lot, especially we have millions of people coming out from the university. Yes, we have a lot of people and they don't know their next line of action and all that.
When you say adopting it, I would say we're already there. So what you can talk about now is probably expanding it, and promoting it, So that has to do with sensitization. That's capital markets operators sensitizing people that, look, you need to come into the market, because coming into the market in itself is done electronically, online. So that's just what it is, It's already electronic, it's already online. So all you need is more players.
Right. That was very interesting reactions from the audience and also
From the public.
The DG of SEC speaking about the regulations and what they are put in place. So, but let's start with the Investment and Securities Act 2025. So, if you have read the act, what are the key issues that has been highlighted to address the capital market headwinds? And also, how will that impact the Sycamore in their operations?
Thank you very much for that question. And that's very insightful, interesting comments and insights from the SEC DG regarding what the commission is doing. So the ISA Act 2025 was signed into law and kind of heralded a new era of capital market awareness, capital market regulation, and this is seen generally as a positive. In the past, the capital market had been in limbo, more or less. Most of capital market players have generally just ticked the box when it comes to compliance, when it comes to traditional assets, and when it comes to even the SEC, the way regulation is done in Nigeria. But with this new ISA Act 2025, it kind of just broadened the horizon. And when I say broadened the horizon, it also talks about how the SEC now is empowered to regulate a wider coverage of assets in the capital market, which of course includes digital assets. Now, the SEC requires digital asset operators and promoters, fintechs and startups to actually register with the commission to operate and do business in Nigeria. This kind of encourages more participation from these fintechs and all these issuers of digital assets as well. I say fintechs and startups, but this also impacts traditional asset managers who issue and design products that also have digital features as well. Now, the Act, also importantly speaks to, some other aspects of capital market regulation with regards to the infrastructure in the market. So the settlement infrastructure, all that is now orderly outlined in the Act. Who is supposed to take care and be in charge of what type of assets. We're talking about the exchanges, FMDQ, NGX, the commodities exchanges, and all that layering has now been ordered in that ISA Act. That makes things there's a lot more transparency that the Act has brought, a lot more coverage, because now again, the SEC has increased surveillance powers to prosecute bad actors. We talk about people who just come to the market to swindle unsuspecting investors in the market with all sorts of products that are not licensed, that generally don't even just fit into standard investment in market. So there's a lot of positives from this ISA Act. And I think SEC has actually taken a very huge step forward. For Sycamore, and how this plays for us is the fact that we align very strongly with a well-regulated market. So we're happy to have this act. A lot of the things that have been outlined and signed into law actually align with our philosophy for investing and also for designing innovative products. We keyed into it even in getting our registration and licensing from the SEC, which is an important step even in getting into the market and putting ourselves out there with our innovative products. So we've aligned with SEC, we've gotten a license as a fund manager. And yeah, so I think, for us at Sycamore, the sky is actually very blue and is a starting point.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think one of the issues I read from the Act talking about return of capital when the company is folded. So I think interestingly, people would like to hear because of, due to the recent CBEX that we saw, right? That's profound. Thanks to SEC for their hard work. So let's talk about another thing, narrating to your platform, which is Sycamore. So I would like to know if you support what the SEC has come up with, especially the SEC trading digital asset like cryptocurrency, tokenized securities. Do you have a class priority for digital asset?
That's a very good question too, I should say. So again, Sycamore, we're very happy with this act because it brings a lot of transparency and it gives a wider coverage of all sorts of assets. So for Sycamore, how this plays in for us is that we've designed products that actually align with these provisions for digital assets and digital solutions generally. So we have innovative products that we've gotten approval from the SEC. We actually work closely with SEC to get approval for two of our structured, very innovative products that are putting out there, which gives diversified exposure to investors and also give them protection. And of course, very importantly, the fact that SEC has given approval, having looked through, and we've gone through a rigorous process of passing it along with SEC and getting their go ahead on it. So that is just one. But in terms of priority for assets, which is the question you asked, Sycamore is offering investment opportunities in equities, both domestic and foreign securities. Again, when I say foreign securities, even domestic, you have to understand that these are opportunities and investment products and solutions that are driven by digital first approach to designing the products. The cross-border opportunity to invest in foreign currency denominated assets is also factored into the way we've designed our products. We also offer opportunities for fixed income in bonds and treasury bills. For those who are interested in lower risk type of investment, but still able to take advantage of high yield and high interest environment, which is very interesting and attractive at this time. So equities, foreign and domestic, bonds and treasury bills. We're also working on, investment opportunities with commodities, which for us is going to be designed and driven mainly by digital solutions. I would say fractionalization, for example. For us, our commodities products, is steeped very deeply in how we allow retail investors, small ticket size investors to be able to access, commodities that are not easily exchanged. We're talking about energy commodities, agricultural commodities. Those are backed using digital solutions. So those are the things we're looking at. We're looking at real estate as well. Obviously, if you're going to go into the market for real estate, which is traditionally dominated by, HNIs and institutions because of the because the big size
Size of it.
of the transactions, you have to fractionalize, you have to break it down. And that's where digital solutions, fractionalization comes in.
What about Forex? Are you?
Yeah, I mean, Forex for us, so yeah, that's interesting again. So we also have an innovative product even that is driven on our app, which is the multi-currency wallet. For us, we're not trading Forex, we're not offering Forex trading, but we're offering the opportunity for investors to be able to have exposure to different currencies right there on their app. When they log in and onboard, they're able to hold the Naira, they're able to also hold the USD currency and any other. We have about 4 or 5 different currencies that investors are able to hold. And that helps investors to be able to, number one, hedge against headwinds, inflation, and things like that, and also be able to, take advantage of opportunities in, foreign denominated assets.
All right, so let's talk about your experience in the industry. What would you say that is the biggest challenge of stakeholders in the market, especially the adoption of digital asset?
I would say, first of all, I think that the fintechs who generally originated this will have less of a challenge, generally. But of course, it goes without saying that compliance will be something of a headache to an extent, because this is a new regulation, a new act. New guidelines are being set. So everybody needs to, first of all, familiarize. I expect there will be, small friction here and there between the regulator and, the operators, as everybody tries to align and, ensure that there's compliance with these new rules. So compliance is one thing that will be a challenge. Education, or would I say expertise? So expertise is another thing. So the combination of investment knowledge and technology, fintech, digital knowledge is very rare. Most of the time you find people who are good with investments, who are good with, who are traditionally good with these traditional assets, but they are not tech savvy. They are not very exposed in terms of IT. They don't understand what digital fully means, But it's hard to now get people who have both sides of the coin. So that's something. Talent is going to be a challenge as well. I also feel that, like I said, adoption and compliance, talent is another thing. But generally speaking, I think, in time, and not too distant in the future, these things will align. We'll have a deeper pool of talent. We'll have more knowledge and engagement with regards to the digital assets provisions of the Act. And even in compliance, I'm sure that there'll be a lot more improvement. Even the SEC is doing quite a bit of work that we see in the public with the SEC DG, speaking very, very, very much about the provisions of the Act, what players can actually do and how the SEC can come in, and even in investor education. Those are things that will contribute to, making those challenges a lot easier to surmount.
How will the digital asset reshape Nigeria's capital market? Talking about looking into the future now.
Oh yes. So I mean, these are the it gets very interesting from here. Now the Act is signed. What's the impact, right? Which is the question. The impact for me, the fact that there's more inclusivity. There's more. I said earlier about a wider coverage of assets, which includes digital assets, and of course those who issue and are involved in innovating these products. We would have more adoption by retail, because we mentioned fractionalization. Digital solutions, digital assets are very heavy. When you start to think about blockchain technology and decentralized ledger, you're able to make or innovate products that are accessible to retail. The guy on the ground on the streets who just has a phone and they want to buy just a small part of a huge physical asset, for example, a building, a house, real estate investment, they'll be able to, using blockchain, for example, to be able to buy a fraction of a real estate asset. That's a very big positive, because again, in the past, it was, like I said before, the fact is people who have all the money to drop to buy a building, they were the only ones who could access those type of investments. But now with fractionalization, people who have smaller tickets can say, okay, look, this is a viable investment. It will give me rent in the future. It can appreciate in the future. Let me buy a share of it. So that's what digital will do. That's one aspect of digital, or one potential for that. Another potential is cross-border investment. So now people can actually access investment opportunities and assets outside of Nigeria, given the fact that you're able to, if you think about stable coins, for example, as crypto, these generally serve as baseline for all sorts of asset pairs, which gives the opportunity for investors to be able to access other markets, access other jurisdiction with different currency from the local naira. So those are two of some of the interesting things that we should see coming, and definitely there's a lot more. There's a lot more that I'm not even talking about now that I know that is in the pipeline and people are working on.
Right. That's wonderful. So as we wrap up this discussion, in your concluding thought, this question now is going to be needing an honest answer, right?
Okay.
Do you trust the promises of this Investment and Security Act 2025?
It is a far-reaching act, to be honest, and when you just look at it, you can tell that a lot of thought and a lot of work went into developing the provisions of the act. So, I mean, without a doubt, I think that the people who were behind the scenes putting that together actually put in a lot of thought into how they want to see the market grow into the future. A lot will depend on implementation, as we know, but from the signs that personally speaking, as a player in the market who's seen how things have been done and implemented in the past, I think there's a new gusto. I can see some new, fresh energy, even coming from the regulator. I like what I'm seeing, and I know a lot of my colleagues also are happy with the way the regulators are actually coming out to promote this, to enlighten people, to also encourage adoption, innovation in the market. So I think this is a very solid development. Again, it opens the doors for players that have not been in the market to actually contribute, bring in fresh ideas, bring in innovation, and that benefits everybody. It benefits the guy on the streets, it benefits Nigerians, it improves the Nigerian economy. We're talking about a 1 trillion naira economy in the near future. These are the things that will serve as drivers for the economy. So you asked me my personal opinion. I'm actually optimistic. I'm optimistic about the positive impact that this act will bring.
So in 1 minute, do you think that this would bring some people or someone who may be victimizedly or consciously or unconsciously involved in online fraud into online trading?
That's a very tricky, very interesting question, and one that I've also thought about. Because the net is now open, it's inclusive, and everybody should come in. There needs to be caution, but I'm sure that SEC has factored that in. But the good thing about that is that now they're able to come in, right, because of the requirement to register. So they will be compelled to go by the books. Otherwise, they're now under surveillance, because again, like I said, the Act gives the Commission extensive powers to actually go into all sorts of institutions to survey, to be able to see what's going on in, operationally for all these players. I think it's positive because the guys who decide to stay outside and still continue to perpetrate their fraud are now the ones, because now they're outsiders. They're generally just, the SEC would just easily just name them. You've been seeing naming and shaming from the SEC.
How would you now convince him to leave that and come in to the capital market?
Well, if you are legitimate, that's the thing. If you're legitimate, you have a business idea, you have innovative digital solution, the Act actually gives you, now it gives the opportunity to actually even just implement your idea, run it by the regulator, get registered. The moment you still remain outside, now it just even supposes that you have something to hide, right? Why aren't you coming in? Now that they've made everything open, giving you the opportunity, why are you remaining out there? I mean, I think it also helps investors as well to be able to say, these guys are not registered. They probably have something to hide, right? And more players who are registered, who are innovating, also gives investor confidence to say, well, these guys have been vetted by the regulators. There's more transparency, and we can actually do this. So I think generally that the market is ready for innovation, is ready for digital solutions, digital assets, and Sycamore is ready as well. I might add that.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations to you and the capital market, especially you, which I'm talking about, the Sycamore, for having this Investment and Securities Act that will give you more advantage to do what you do. Mr. Oluwagbenga, Magbagbeola. All right, thank you so much. Stockbroker and the Managing Director, Sycamore Investment and Asset Management Limited. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, cryptocurrency is legal in Nigeria, so you may like to invest as the capital market continues to grow digitally. And now to you, our esteemed viewers, this is where we draw the curtain for discussion today. And if you want to get more knowledge on finance, the market, banking, the economy, and investing, please visit ProShare website, WebTV, YouTube, and follow our social media platforms displayed on the screen. We also will appreciate your feedback and comment on the program. Thank you for watching. I am Gabriel, Jude, signing out, and have a great day.